These days America is entangled in a new front of war, and that is college campus, which has come under the grip of student protests. Hello, welcome to India World Insight channel. In today's video we are going to do a short analysis of the media reporting on the student protests happening in America. The video on this channel is not just to give you news. Here an effort is made to bring such content that increases your knowledge, your analytical thinking. The video is quite interesting. You can get a new perspective to understand things. You will be able to understand what is the difference between the things happening around us and what is shown to us. So let's start the video, but before that there is a reminder for you that you must subscribe to the channel because you will keep getting such great videos on our channel. Student protests in the US are making headlines, starting with Columbia University in New York and soon spreading to other elite colleges and then to Europe. Students are protesting against the war in Gaza. College campuses are divided into pro-Palestine and pro-Israel camps. Both have their own valid arguments. You cannot deny that Israel has crossed many red lines in Gaza. But you cannot ignore what happened to Israel on 7th October. Apart from this, also see that about 73% of Jewish students in the US are facing anti-Semitism. The same is happening with Muslims regarding Islamophobia. Anti-Muslim incidents have increased by 216% in the US in the last 7 months. So both these communities feel threatened there, and now both are protesting fiercely. Violent clashes are taking place, with over 2,000 incidents of suspensions and arrests of students. The scenes coming out of the US are dramatic. Police with shields, batons and smoke bombs deployed only in riotous situations like this, late-night protests, mayhem and students being dragged away in handcuffs. This is the US, the land of freedom, and there are violent police raids on college campuses. Imagine if this were happening in any other country. Then the US would be ready to give moral lectures, even ban them. Their media would be full of scathing editorials. Everywhere in the mainstream media, it would be cursed and condemned, but right now they are all hiding behind the guise of neutrality. The New York Times says colleges have collapsed. The Wall Street Journal says divestment from Israel will not work, even though this is what students are demanding. The articles published in the media seem to be critically analyzing student movements. But where does their balance go when protests take place in another country? When students protest in Delhi, no such nuances are shown. Then it is made into a story of innocent students versus bad government. When there are student protests in Moscow, the same attitude is seen there. Then it is portrayed as anti-war students versus evil Putin. India recently made a comment, which is not very common, in which the spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs condemned these double standards. The Ministry of External Affairs said, "Every democracy must find the right balance between freedom of expression, a sense of responsibility, public safety and order. Democracies should especially extend this understanding to other democracies. After all, we are all judged by what we do at home, not what we say abroad. And this is not just for lecturing others. It is a very important point and every country should learn from it." Without naming the US, India has sent a balanced message. On the other hand, US officials are blaming elements outside the campus for these protests. Here once again you see the American hypocrisy. When there are protests in universities in Asia or Africa, every protester is a student. Then there are no activists, politicians or foreign conspirators. But when this happens in America, their media starts seeing the hand of foreign powers in it. So one question you can definitely ask is, what is the intelligence agency doing? The world's top intelligence agency equipped with all kinds of facilities. Then this is a shocking thing to happen, and it cannot be believed easily. Most of these protesters are left-wing. They are part of President Biden's voter base. Therefore Biden is treading cautiously. He cannot distance himself from Israel by accepting their demands, but he cannot anger those students in the election year either. There has been a long history of student protests in America, which determine political choices. From the civil rights movement in the 1960s to the Vietnam War in 1968 and the protests against South Africa's apartheid regime in the 1980s, there has been a long history of these. Biden will have to make a plan to deal with this explosion of youth. But will America reconsider its attitude after the crisis is over? Will the media there also understand and report the issues of every country with the same responsibility? We can only hope. The focus of this analysis is on how things are represented in front of the public, how the media of a country represents things in front of the public to keep itself in trend. What do you think? Is the media here doing its work completely unbiased as it does for other countries, or do you also feel that it is very easy to preach to others, but very difficult to apply it to oneself? That's all for today's video. See you in the next video. For such insightful knowledge, join our channel, and if you liked this information, then please hit the like button. If you have any suggestion, tell us in the comment. Also do not forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Take care. Jai Hind.